are the data tables and view tables, how to access them, and then we learned about the info group modifier yesterday, right?
Yep. Yes.
So today I'm just going to show you the configuration relating to info group modifier. It is more or less similar what you have worked earlier relating to your actions. Only thing is one column you need to maintain and one feature. I'll just show you that first and then take you through the another concept of PA module, which will be the last concept. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Venkat, I'm sorry, I was not able to join the class yesterday. I had to take my wife to a doctor. She was not keeping well. So I don't know how we can maybe cover it up so that I don't miss out on the yesterday's session.
I have sent a material. Okay, you can just go through that. It should not be difficult actually.
Okay, sure. If I have any difficulties, I'll come back to you.
Now guys, other day we have seen the actions part, right? And if you remember, we created our info groups here. In the first node we created the info groups. These are all the info groups which you see. Mine is HI, the one what I created the other day, HI, the hiring info group, and I said that my reference user group is 77. After creating the info group here, what did we do? We went to info group, called our HI and created the entries here. Earlier we didn't use info group modifier, but as I said, in very rare cases you can use this info group modifier. In case if you want for the same info group more than one set of info types to be assigned. If you see, there will be one standard info group, guys. Yeah. 0. Here, if you see, there is one info group U0, and here they have maintained different set of info types for India, and then different set of info types for US. So these should be the info types for US and these should be the info types for India. But both the sets are assigned to one info group only. And this info group is assigned to an action. There is one action. If you see, I think action is also U0. Yeah. See, you have one action U0, US, India, hire action. One common action, one common info group. To this info group, as I have shown earlier, they have assigned different info types for India, different info types for US. Their ultimate requirement is if a person is hired for US, using that action hiring, system should call only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 info types. Whereas if they are hiring a person for India, they have got many info types here. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 info types altogether they want for India. Now, okay, fine, we created 2 sets here. How can my system know that which set to be called for India, which set to be called for US? Here you are seeing info group modifier they have used is India and US. Where did they set up conditions? Which one is for what? You see here. This is info group modifier. That is your IG mod feature which I was telling yesterday. If you double click on that, it takes you to IG mod feature. Either you can go this way or else I can go to PE03 as we have seen earlier. Any feature I said can be worked in PE03 here. Now, what is that they are telling? They are querying on personnel area. If personnel area is KR01, they want info group modifier to be 41. This is not otherwise. They are querying under subgroup, and here you see they are going with so many subgroups. Let me go to otherwise. What is that they are querying on? Action type. This is our action which we have seen. If the action is U0, they are querying on Molga. If US, they are giving US, and if India, they are giving India. That means, how does this go? If a person is hired, first my system checks for the personnel area which is assigned to that person. If he or she is assigned with other personnel area other than this, my system comes to this. In otherwise, they are querying on subgroup. If a person is hired for other than any of these subgroups mentioned here, it goes here. What is this? We have seen, right, a while back in set of personnel actions. This action. They are telling if the action type is 0, that is US India hire action, that is this one. Then they are querying on Molga, that is country grouping. If a person is hired using this action for US, what is the return value here? US. What is that US? This one. They are telling call US. If a person is hired for India, they are telling call India. That means this info group modifier. So for the same action, here they have set 2 different sets of info types to the same info group, and that is made possible by your info group modifier, which is defaulted by IG mod. Understood? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Venkat.
Others?
Yeah, Venkat.
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah. So except this, everything else is same. Now you can create as many sets as you want here and tell the system in IGMod feature which set to be called when. So system takes care of it. You need not remember for which group, how many info types and all. Though not used regularly, in very rare cases it would be used, guys, but still for your information sake I am telling that there is something called as info group modifier and a feature IGMod. In case if in interviews they ask you, if I want to different info types call for hiring a person for that location, hiring a person for this location, how do you do? Just tell them that boss, we use info group modifier and we default by using IGMod feature. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Now let us go to the next concept, guys, which is called as screen modifications. What is this particular thing, screen modifications, and why do we use this? See, guys, have you ever seen, I don't know whether you remember that or not. See, are you seeing here? There is something called as screen control. Right? Info type, screen control. Now, what is the screen control? I will tell you. Do you know what is this info type? Can you tell me what is this info type?
Personal data.
Now, is this an international info type or country specific info type?
International.
It is international info type. Why? Because every country uses this info type to store the personal details of employee. Now, I will show you an interesting thing. I am going to P820. Guys, I hope you all might be knowing, since you are from US, you know what is this.
Yes. Social
Right?
security. Yep.
Social security number, which is a unique ID given to everybody, and you know that a person will be handicapped without having this, right? How qualified he or she is, they cannot get any opportunity until unless they get an SSN, right?
Yeah.
Now, where is this SSN maintained? Any idea?
Payroll.
Okay.
No. Where do you find SSN for an employee?
Personal data.
Personal database, right? So let me pick one US employee. Guys, if I ask you, help me out in picking one US employee from the system, how do you do that?
Enter the personal number.
I don't know that.
We can expand it and go by name.
How do I know which employee belongs to US by name?
We will select personal data and then info type.
How do I select the info type without selecting a person?
Sorry, we will go to organization assignment and then we will.
We'll select
Sorry?
the country code.
Where do you select?
Mm,
Where do you select that? If I ask you, get me list of 2 or 3 people who belong to US from my system, how do you do that? This is something which we learnt actually. I go to org assignment tab. Here I need to search. But is there a country grouping here? No. Then how to get? We go by personnel area. Remember, we assigned the personnel area to country grouping. So here I should select a country grouping 10. And then press enter. This is the list of all people belonging to US. Why? Because I selected a personnel area which belongs to a US company and which belongs to country grouping US. Select any person. Go to personal data. See here, you have got SSN. Are you seeing?
Yeah.
Now if I go to say PH20, select any German employee and go to personal data. Are you seeing SSN anywhere here, guys?
No.
So we learned that personal data infotype is international infotype but not country specific. At the same time, if we see for a German employee, the look and feel of this infotype is different. For US employee, the look and feel is different. See, here you have only 2 sections, whereas here you have got 3 sections. How did they maintain this difference? It is through a screen. Okay, so now you understood how they maintain the difference. This is stored in IG 0002. This can be seen only for US employees but not for other countries, say Germany, India, etc. This is made possible assigned to Infotypes. This is the thing, guys. This is the lead information for this concept actually. Okay, so how did they do that? By using a concept called as screen, which is assigned to Infotypes. Now, technically speaking, every Infotype has a screen or screens assigned to it in the back end along with a program to control its settings. The program is called as module pool program. Okay, so see guys, what am I trying to tell you is, technically speaking, every info type has a screen or screens assigned to the info type in the backdrop, along with a program to control its settings. The program is called as module pool program. Usually your HR ABAP people will be using this. Okay. Tomorrow when they are creating any new info type for that, say, they will be creating by using module pool program actually. So every info type will have a module pool program, and you will be having a screen or screens attached to that. So how to know the module pool program? Remember, okay, and then you would be having MPXXX00 example as a module pool program with the name MP understood. Every module pool program would start with MP, that is module pool, followed by 4XX, last would be 00, which means the info type number. See, I said example, info type 2 has a module pool program with the name MP 000200. Every info type has that, guys. Actions info type, org assignment, every info type will have a module pool program assigned to that in the backend, and this module pool program has the code like this. Now, how to see the screen number for an info type? I will show you now. Just see guys and make a note of that. That would help you a lot. You need to go to the info type about which you want to know. Choose any field for that, say in that info type, and go to help. In this new screen, you need to click on technical information. There is one icon, guys, technical information. Click on that. Now you get program name. See, the program name is MP 000200. That is for info type 2. See the screen number here. What is the screen number? 2001. Same way, if I go to US employee, if I want to know the screen number of this, same, select any one field, same help, and same technical information. You get here MP 000200, and then see here 2010 is the screen number. Now you understood how the difference has come up, because they assigned one screen with these fields to info type 0002. Here they have come up with another screen which has these fields. That made SAP to make it possible to give different screens for different info types for different countries. Understood?
Yes.
I request you to show once more, please.
Please. Hello. What question you have?
Venkat, this is Reena. I was just asking if you could show us this once more.
See, any info type, if you want to know, you need to go to that info type, select any field in that info type for that sake, and click on help, go to technical information, and there you will see the program name for that info type and the screen number. Screen number here is 2001 for Germany. The same if I go to US employee, select any field, same process, help, technical information, you will see the screen number 2010. So like this, they gave different screens which made it possible for them to give different settings for different countries. Clear? And guys, every field will have a screen name and a technical name. Do you remember when I was showing a feature, I told you in the structure. I have not opened it. Let me show you that so that you can recollect what I am speaking to. Okay, any feature for that say. If you go to attributes, we saw the structure. See, here we have seen company code, personnel area, employee group, subgroup, right? These are screen names. And about these, I told you that these are technical names for a field which ABAPers would use to do the coding. Do you remember?
Yep.
So now, in case if you want to know the technical name of any field also, same process. See here, personnel area is there. What is the technical name? Works. Right? If you want to know, you can easily know. Select our assignment. Personnel area field is here. As usual, go to help, technical information. Guys, here you see, this is MP000100. Why I am accessing org assignment info type? That's what I said. Every program starts with MP followed by info type number. And this is the field name which gives you technical name. For any field, if you want to know the technical name, this is the process. Same technical information you have to access. Now, same process I will tell you. See, if I want to know employee group technical name, same. Select the field, help, technical information, and then see the field name, PERSG. This is the technical name of this field. Same way, if you want to know about any other field, say employee subgroup, select it, help, technical information with a PERSG. Like this, you can get the technical name of any field. Why? Because this would be used by ABAPers, but just for your information sake, I am telling. And then, if you want to know the length of the field, now say you go to a field, you don't know whether you can give a number or a character. Can you remember? For how many fields can you remember like this? Instead, there is a process for this also. If you want to know what is the length of that field, what is the character type allowed, same process, guys. You select the field about which you want to know, help, technical information. Now you need to go to data element field here and double click on the value. The system tells data type is character. That means you can give alphabets or numbers. Length is 1. Back. If you want to know about company code, how many characters code? 4 characters code. Since we learned, we know. So now I'm going to personal data. I don't know how many characters last name field will have. So if you want to know what will you do? Same process. Last name field, health, technical information. You go to data element and double click. See that again 40 characters are permitted. So like this you can know the length, the character type of a field, as well the technical name of a field, as well the screen number, as well the module pool program by going to help information and the technical information. You get all the things at a time. Module pool program, screen number and technical name. Data element gives you the length and character type. Clear guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Technical information has to be chosen. All the above mentioned values. Okay. Understood guys? Just which might be helpful if you go to any project actually later on. These are some tips I can tell you which would help you to work quickly. Now I'll come to the concept screen modifications. What is the screen modifications? This can be used to modify the settings relating to fields in screens of an info type, like making a field mandatory, making a mandatory field into an optional field, comma, hiding unwanted fields. This is possible through this guys, screen modifications. So what am I telling here? Screen modifications. This can be used to modify the settings relating to fields in a screens of an info type, like making field mandatory. If there is an optional field given by SAP, your customer is telling, boss, I want it to be a mandatory field. Then you can make it a mandatory field. And if they say a mandatory field should be made into optional field, I don't want that field to be mandatory, you can do that. If they want to hide a field, any unwanted field, you can also do that rather than deleting. Why? Because if something is deleted, you cannot get it back again. So they gave screen modifications. How to do screen modifications? I will show you now the process. Say there is an info type like this. I am just taking one example. There is a field name at birth. Now your customer said, Boss, in my company I don't use name at birth field. If the field is like this open in the screen, people might put some other information. Instead, I want to remove that field. In their language, they can tell remove, but you cannot delete that field, and you should not do. Why? Because this is a standard info type. So what you can do is, to meet your customer's requirement, you can hide this field. How to hide it? I will show you. Now make a note, guys, how to go to the screen modifications. You can make a note, path to do screen modifications. SPRO. Hope you are writing. Hello.
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go to personnel management. Personnel administration. Go to customizing user interfaces. And now go to change screen modifications. This is the screen. Now, how to see the table name of this, guys? If I want to know the view table name of this node, how do I do?
Select table view and print.
Very good. Okay. T588M is the table. Okay. Now, for which info type I want to make changes? Personal data. For which country? For Germany. You have to be very cautious enough while selecting this. What will be the module pool program of Infotype 2? It is MP000200, right? You have it here. See, MP000200. This is the module pool program. Now see how many entries are there. Why these many entries? Standard screen is only one, but the difference is alternative screen. For these many countries, they have given country specific things. Now, for which country I want to make changes, guys? For Germany. What is the screen number for Germany? How do you get it? Same as I said. Name at birth, health, technical information. What is the screen number here? 2001. Now, in this screen, I need to select an entry which has 2001 under alternative screen. That means this one. So this is the entry which I need to change to make the German related settings changed. By mistake, if you select some other entry, what happens? You are making changes to some other country. You have to be a little bit cautious enough. When you come here, since you see more screen, what do you need to do? Before coming here, you should know for which country they are asking changes. Germany. So pick one Germany employee, go to the info type, select any field, help, technical information. You get here the screen number as 2001. So you should know, okay, this is the screen for which I want to make changes. Now, I am selecting this screen here. See, under alternative screen, you should select the same screen. Understood, guys? After selecting it, go to details. Now you see many fields. That means these are the fields which you are seeing here. All these fields are these. Which is the field I want to hide? Name at birth. So choose that field. This is the one. See, I have name at birth here. I have to select the field, As of now, the setting is standard as given by SAP. What is the next field? RF means required field. If you want to make that field mandatory, you have to select it. From then onwards, that field becomes mandatory. If you want to make it optional field, select it. From then onwards, it will become an optional field. Guys, this output and initialization would be used by adapters. We need not use it, so forget them. And here you are seeing hide. This hide option is used to hide. Now, what is that I want? I want to hide this name at birth field. So I will go to name at birth field and select the option hide. Save it. Now my setting is saved. Let me go to German employee, refresh it, come out, and then go to display. Now are you seeing name at birth here, guys? That field is not there. Why? Because I have hidden it. If I want back, what should I do? Put it back to standard, save. Now go back once again, you will find name at birth. So this way you can make changes to your screens of Infotypes by using screen modification. Understood, guys, why we use screen modifications? In very rare cases, if customers ask, we use this, or else we don't use this option. But for your information sake, I am telling that what is your screen modifications. Clear? Everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah.
Now, finally, I want to tell one more thing, which
Question.
Hmm.
So the ones that we chose as optional over there also are reflected on the screen, is it? So what's the
Optional means?
difference? Like we chose
Optional means?
nationality was optional.
Yeah, that means you need not. It is up to you whether give value for that or you don't give value. It is an optional field.
So
It's
there
not a
we had chosen
mandatory field.
it as optional, but it is there in this field, right? So
It
both,
would be there. It would be there.
okay, so both optional as well as standard entries are reflected.
Correct. Now I am going to one more concept, guys, which is not relating to us again, used by adapters, but you should know about it. What is that? I'll tell you. Guys, do you remember we created address Infotype? If I want to know how many addresses this person has, how do I do? I want to know how many addresses this person has.
You will select address, then all, then display.
I need to select all and then say overview. Display means only current record.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I need to say overview. Now you are seeing only one address record. Now I want to create another address record. Create one permanent address. I want from 2004. Something which we have seen. Now see the message at the bottom. What is it telling? We learned this already. It is telling record would get delimited, right? Because earlier old address was up to 3112.999. Since I am creating a new address, it is delimiting it. You know why system is giving these messages? There is a concept. Every info type has that concept actually. What is that concept is what I am going to tell you. If I press enter, it asks me to save. I will save it. Why is it taking so long? It is saved. Now, if I go to copy, which record will be marked for copying?
Recent one.
Recent.
The recent one.
See, I went to copy. I got 1/1/2004. Now see guys, without changing anything, if I just press enter and try to save, just one sec, I'll just change the pin code. Try to press enter. See the message? What is it telling? It is telling this entry deletes a record. Why? Already there is a record from 1/1/2004, and if I try to create again for the same date, it will delete old record. Why? A permanent address can be only one. Now if I go to 2005 and press enter, my system tells old record from 2004 is delimited. I save it. This is something which we have already seen, but what is that I want to tell you now is, why is system giving such messages? What made system to give such messages? There is a technical concept here also, and the concept is time constraint class. This is the concept which is controlling my system to do that. What is time constraint class? Time constraint class is an element which controls system behavior when an info type or subtype is maintained. Are you understanding, guys? Time constraint class is an element which controls system behavior. Just now you have seen my system was behaving. It was telling I will delimit, it was telling I will delete. Why? Because of a time constraint class. And time constraint class excuse me, is assigned to info types as well subtypes. There are three major time constraint classes which can be assigned to info types or subtypes. It is to be noted that only one time constraint class can be assigned to a subtype or info type a time. Understood, guys? They are telling that a time constraint class can be assigned to an info type or subtype. How many time constraint classes are there? There are three major time constraint classes in SAP which can be assigned to info types or subtypes. Though there are three, it is to be noted that only one is assigned at a time to an info type. For all standard info types, maintain the time constraint class. For subtypes also, it is maintained. Adapters, when they create a new customer specific info type. Understood? For all SAP standard info types and subtypes, SAP has already taken care and assigned. When are they used? When we create a customer specific info type, ABAPers will use this time constraint class. Why? Because to create an info type, that is a mandatory field. What is a mandatory field? Required field. Without this field, they cannot create an info type. Now tomorrow when you ask them create an info type, immediately they ask you which time constraint class. When you don't know what is the time constraint class, how do you tell them? For that purpose I am telling this. Though this is not our concept, we need to just know about it. We need not work on it actually. Why? Because that is not our cup. I will tell you what are the three time constraint classes are. There is a time constraint class 1. What will it tell? Only one record must exist for a given time period. Gaps are not allowed. Example, guys. Your actions info type, org assignment, permanent address. Now you have seen a while back when I created a new record from 1/1/2004 for permanent address record for an employee up to 31/12/99999. My system gave a message that it would delimit the old record. Why? It was valid up to 31/12/9999. So why it delimited? Because it is assigned with time constraint class 1 and it tells only one record must exist for a given time period. I cannot have more than one record. That's why it said old record from 1/1/1994 would be delimited up to 31/12/2003. If you see here, if I go to address, go to you, select this record, you see here what is the end date? 31/12/2003. Why? Because I created another address record 2004, that's why that is delimited. Now this is delimited up to 31/12/2004. Why? Because there is a new address record from 1/1/2005 which is up to 31/12/999. Now if I create one more address record, what will happen? From 1/1/2006, this will get delimited. Why? As I am telling, this is assigned with time constraint class 1 and time constraint class 1 tells only one record must exist for a given time period and Gaps are not allowed. That's why it is delimiting the things. Understood?
Yes.
There is a second time constraint clause also, guys, which is a little bit different from this. And this is assigned to few info types. Now what is that? It tells only one record must exist for a given time period, but the difference is here gaps are allowed. Best example is, what is info type 21, guys?
Family
21.
details.
Family details. You have to be thorough with all these things by now because we are winding up today. And subtype spouse. You know, guys, in countries like India, they say that a person should have only one spouse at a time. Correct or not? So now say for example, one person when joined my company was not married. Do you create a spouse record for that employee?
No.
No. Why? Because the person is happily living and he doesn't want to have any problems as such. Right? Good luck or bad luck, the fellow got married. Okay. And person came and said, boss, I got married and please create my spouse record. What will I do? I'll tell, okay, no problem, I'll create. I go to PA30, put the personal number, go to Infotype 21, select subtype spouse, and then I say create. What will my system ask there? It will ask start date. Why? Because my system doesn't know when that person has become his partner or from when their relationship has started. So I need to create it. So we will put the start date as their marriage date. How about the end date? I cannot ask that person what is end date. The fellow will slap me. Right? Why? Because no one knows how long they are going to stay together. Right? So what will we do? We will put 31129999. Now since I put as 31129999, is there any guarantee that those people should stay together forever? No guarantee. They might stay together, or if the person is lucky enough, 1 year or 2 years, person will be out of that bondage. Right? Say this fellow was lucky enough and their relationship ended after 2 years. Will that be meaningful if I put the end date still as 31129999, guys?
No, we can
No,
update it
right?
after that.
Yeah, we can go to change and we can just change it to the date when they have separated. Now, if the person is separated, is there anywhere written in Indian law that the next day only person should get married? No.
No.
Right? Person can get married after 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, right? So now say for example the person got married again in the year 2010. He was departed from his first wife in the year 2008 and he got married in the year 2010. When I am creating a new spouse record from the year 11/2010, if my system tells that I will extend old spouse record up to 31/12/2009, is it doing a meaningful job? No. Why? Because he was not having spouse after 2008 and I need a gap there. That is possible only by time constraint class 2. Time constraint class 1 will never have gaps allowed. Time constraint class 2 will have gaps allowed. That is the difference. Understood?
Yeah.
And then there is a third
Yes.
time constraint class, guys. What is this? Third one. I'll explain. In India, okay, one spouse at a time. If you go to Middle East, what happens? A sheikh can have 7 maximum wives at a time. Right? Bearing one wife will be difficult. I don't know how they are bearing 7. Now, right, so in case if I go to such countries, my first time constraint class, second time constraint class will not work. So SAP said, don't worry, I will give you third time constraint class for such things. What will be that? It tells many records can exist for a given time period and gaps are allowed. The best example, guys, is Infotype 21, child subtype in any country. Right. So what is this? I'll explain. You might be seeing that some couples would be blessed with twins, right or not? Now, when they are blessed with twins, I have to create both the kids' record, right? And if I am creating, what will be the start date of first kid record? Date of birth. What will be the start date of second kid record? Also date of birth, same date of birth. So if I create two records with the same start date, my system will not allow here and here. Why? Very clearly telling only one record. But how about such information? SAP said, don't worry, I will give third time constraint class. So SAP has given like this, guys, 3 time constraint classes, and they have already assigned these time constraint classes to the respective info types and subtypes. We need not change them. Why? They are SAP standard info types. Now, where will we use these? For suppose if you go to any project tomorrow, if there is a requirement that a new customer specific info type has to be created, then you need to get it done by whom? By your ABAPer. You need to tell them, boss, create one info type which would start with 9000 as the number. Say 9005 is the info type number, text should be XXXX, and I want 10 fields. You give all this information. But that information is not complete for them to create an info type. You should also tell them what is the time constraint class to be used. Why? In the screen where they create an info type, time constraint class is a mandatory field for them. Without assigning this, they cannot save and they cannot have info type created. So that is the reason I am talking about this to you people, what is the time constraint class. If you don't know what is the time constraint class, how do you pass on the information to them? So just for your information's sake, I am talking about this. Understood? What is the time constraint class?
Yep.
Yeah. So guys, these concepts which I have covered yesterday and today are not mandatory. Like your IG mod, screen modifications and time constraint classes. These are certain things which we use, certain things which we don't use. If needed, you have to use them, else this is just for your information's sake, so that tomorrow they act as a reference guide for you people. Understood?
Yeah.
Very good. So guys, this completes our PA module curriculum. What all we learned in PA module, guys? From day one, we learned about what is a personnel number. I said that it is a unique key which is used to identify every employee. It has 8-character numerical code. And then we learned about info types, where I said it is used to store the data for the employees. And we have for every info type a validity period, which is a start date, end date. And we learned that few info types will have subtypes, which will be further classification of info types. And then we learned that the categories of info types are SAP standard and customer specific. SAP standard are those delivered by SAP. Customer specific are those created by the customers to meet customers' requirements. Under SAP standard, you have international info types which are used globally, and country specific info types which are used only in some countries. After that, we learned about the ranges of info types for modules. Like for PA and payroll, it is 4 zeros to 0999. For OM, PD and training, it is 1000 to 1999. For time management, it is 2000 to 2999. And for your recruitment, it is 4000 series. And Your customer specific would be 9000 series is what we learned. And then we learned about functions related to maintenance of master data, like create function to create records, copy function helpful to copy the existing records, change function to change the existing data, delete function to delete, delimit function to delimit the end data of a record, display to see the recent information, and overview to see the list of all the records at a time. And then we learned how to maintain the data, and then we moved for number ranges for the employees, that is personnel number ranges, where we learned that there are two categories of number ranges: internal number ranges, external number ranges. Internal number ranges are the ranges from which numbers are allotted by the system. External number ranges allotted by the user. Where do you create them? In TA04 transaction code. How do you tell them it is internal or external? There is a field ext. If it is ticked, it becomes external. If it is left blank, it becomes internal. And then we learned about a concept called as features, which are maintained in TA03 transaction code. There are three options: the documentation to see the documentation of a feature, attributes to know the technical and administrative details, which has structure, which gives the list of fields which can be used for decision making, and decision tree denotes a tree structure which is used to set up the conditions to default a value. And then we learnt about two features: numCur, which is used to default number ranges, and igmod to default the info group modifier. And then we learnt about personnel actions. What concepts? First we learnt about info group, which is used as a group of info types which would be processed in a specified sequence when an action is executed. And info group has to be created for every personnel action. How many actions you want, those many info groups you have to create. And every info group must be assigned to a user group. User group denotes the parameter used for user specific settings. And then we learned that we need to create a personnel action next, to which the info group is assigned. And when you create a personnel action, you have to assign the status to the employees. There are three major statuses we learned. One is customer specific, which is used in case standard status is not meeting requirements. Then employment specific, which is used to denote the nature of employment. And then special payment, which is not used by all the countries but used in some countries like Spain, which is for special payment. Under employment specific, we learned there are four values: 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 denotes employee withdrawn, that means going out of the company. 1 denotes employee with company but inactive. 2 denotes employee with company as a retiree. And 3 denotes employee is active in the company. So you need to maintain the respective status for respective action. Then we learned we need to create reasons for actions. Then we learned that we need to go to change action menu, which is basically used to have our actions permitted to be shown on TA40 screen. Standard action menu is 01. We need to go to standard action menu and default our actions using our user group. Later, you need to go to SU3 transaction code to default your user parameters so that only your settings are displayed. And the parameter ID for user group is UGR, which we use here. Then we learned how to execute actions. Later on, we learned about Infotype menus, which denotes group of info types which can be used for master data maintenance. And we learned how to create Infotype menus. Later on, we talked about info group modifier, which can be used as an element which would allow you to assign more than one set of info types to the same info group assigned to an action. And this can be defaulted by using the feature igmod. Later on, we learned today about the screen modifications, which will help you to perform some modifications to the screens of an info type. I have shown you how to get the information about a module pool program, screen number, technical name, and the length and character type by going to technical information. And then I have shown you how to access the T588N table, that is the table where you maintain the screen modifications. Later on, we learned about time constraint classes, which will help you to have the system's reaction towards the maintenance of Infotype or subtype, where we learned there are 3 time constraint classes, 1, 2, 3. 1 is used to have only one record maintained without any gaps, and then 2 is used to have only one record maintained with gaps, and then 3 where multiple records can be maintained with gaps. And then we learned about data tables and view tables. View tables are used basically behind every configuration node, data tables behind every info type. Data tables can be accessed through SC16 transaction code, and view tables can be accessed by using SM30 transaction code. So guys, this is in a nutshell what we have learned till date in our first submodule. And this first submodule is very, very important submodule for all the other submodules which we are going to learn. Clear?
Yeah.
So tomorrow I will be starting your recruitment submodule, which is very similar to PA module. More or less similar. Only difference is here we talked about employees, there we talk about applicants. So tomorrow I will be starting your recruitment. Now I will just send this to you people, the information what I have created today.
And Venkat, I have a suggestion. See how you and others feel about it. After every module we learn, can we have like 15 or 20? You can make questions related to based on that module, and then maybe we can have it as a test paper, or maybe you can ask us directly. Like, so so that we can revise it, and we can actually know that okay, when if somebody asks us about this topic after maybe like today's Wednesday, if you ask us about PA module like 15-20 questions on Saturday, so how much we actually remember, and so how about it, like if we do it like this?
Yeah, should not be a problem. I can do that. Hardly takes 10
a lot
minutes.
of time I'm continuously revising every day, but still like when a lot of time when you ask something, I still have to think. I have to remember, so hopefully it will not be like that after Saturday if we revise and then take the test, or if we have to answer your question then and there.
Yes, I can. I can do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. On Saturday, I'll ask questions on PM module, and today is what? Today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I cannot complete recruitment by that time. Let me see. In case if I'm in a position to complete, I can ask questions on that as well, because that does not take much time as PA module recruitment. We can complete that in 3 sessions actually, because more or less it is similar. We need not go into minute details like what we have learnt in PA. That being the first module, we have gone into minute details. Okay. Yep, we can do that. Yeah? Yes, it is in your way. Okay guys, so tomorrow I'll start your recruitment submodule, and Saturday, yes, I can ask you the questions. Get geared up with whatever things we have learned. I can ask you in anything what I have covered, so just prepare very well then. Okay?
Sure.
Chalo then guys. Okay, good night.
Yeah, thank you.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Venkat.
Thank you.